Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your man, MrLux, aka the Maverick Gamer, and
Walsh here.
all right, Walsh here. The man is simple and to the point and ready for business. I like it. I like it. All right, so everybody, this is our first official podcast, and I hope you enjoyed. Walsh and I, we've been friends for quite a while. We actually met. Walsh, how did we meet?
I'd seen a couple of your videos that you had done on baseball and from your YouTube channel, and I'd sent you a friend request.
Oh, okay. So I guess the beginning was like from the YouTube stuff. Okay. I was like,
Right.
Interesting, because I was thinking maybe that's how we met, but then you said I joined on the friend. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I was completely wrong on that. All right, cool. All right. So in today's podcast, we want to talk about a couple things. What we've been playing. We're going to touch on some Division stuff that everybody's been playing now. Division is the new hotness. We're also going to talk about Destiny, because Destiny has been one of our true loves over the past couple of years, and then talk about some upcoming stuff in the future, and then give our final thoughts. Sound good to you, Walsh?
Sounds perfect.
Let's kind of jump right into everything, like what we've been playing. So obviously, this podcast is kind of tailored to what we've been playing. Right now, Division is like cream of the crop for me, with a little bit of Destiny sprinkled here and there. I've also been playing a lot of EA Sports UFC 2. Really like the UFC games. They're really fun. A lot of improvements have been made this time around, and the game looks beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, most of my time has been spent on the Division. I really like how that game plays, and we'll get into what we like about the games in just a bit. What about you, Walsh? What have you been playing lately?
Here recently, over the last week or so, it's just been the Division. It's really captivated me the same way as most of the shooters do when they first come out, and I'm really enjoying it a whole lot. And I've been playing a little bit of Ark Survival Evolved sprinkled in here recently, just trying to take care of the everyday things that you have on there, feeding the dinosaurs, doing all that sort of stuff, just to keep them alive and make sure that somebody doesn't steal our stuff. But really, it's just been the Division, and it's been that every night, every day.
Yep, I'm with you. It's kind of funny that we talk about what we've been playing, because just to be honest, full disclosure, Walsh and I play together every night anyway. Pause. But we play games together every night, so it's just like, I already know what he's been playing. The man loves his baby dinosaurs in Ark. So it's kind of funny, but yeah, we've been really playing a lot of the Division, ranking up and doing all that. So with that being said, let's talk about the Division. Let's talk about what we like and then what we dislike about the Division. And once you start us off, Walsh.
All right, so what I like about the Division is the variety in the way that you can set up your character. There's only 3 stats that you can put your stuff into: DPS, health, and skill power. But you can take and tailor each one of those to exactly how you want it. You want it, like myself, I like to be high DPS, high health, and my skill power, it can be whatever. I like that there's varieties in guns and stats that you can have, perks on there. The gameplay I find is fantastic. I rarely have any latency between myself and the other players against it, whether it be AI or in the dark zone. The cover system, right, I really like. I think they hit it. They hit the nail on the head. It took me a minute to get used to the way some of the buttons were set up, but now I don't have any issues with it, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. And I play it on a PlayStation 4. I wish I had a PC that would run it, because I've seen some of the videos and highlights that people have out there, and it's miraculous on the PC.
Oh yeah. The shadowing, the sharpness of the textures. I mean, everything. It looks really, really good on PC. It looks great on the PlayStation 4 too. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, after you see them kind of side by side, you can definitely tell. And I believe PC is 60 frames per second, or probably even higher, if I'm not mistaken. Because I've seen a few videos, and it definitely looks like it's running 60 frames or higher.
I believe it is.
Yeah. So for me, my likes about the division um, pretty much echoes everything that Walsh has said. I like how that you can pretty much tailor your character to your own playstyle. For an example, if you're somebody who may not have the greatest of aim, then you may want to spec for have a high health build and then DPS next, because if you're not hitting all your shots but yet you're fighting somebody that may be hitting all their shots, you want to make sure that you can at least soak up some of that damage while you try to get your aim on point. If you're somebody that has really good aim, then you may want to go spec for high DPS at the cost of a lower health bucket. That way that you're going to be just dropping them quicker without having to worry about them, taking you out because of your health values. And then also the skill power, the different abilities that you can have. They're really good in it for a team setting as well to help support the team. There's so many things that you can do in this game. There's so many numbers that you can look at. At times it can be overwhelming if you're really trying to digest everything all at once. I would recommend people who just starting to play the game, just try to focus on one thing that you want to do and then just work towards building that up. And then once you've got comfortable and pretty much, an expert at that, then look and see what you can tackle next as far as how you want to build your character. But it's really fun to look at all the different abilities, and we're learning so much even as the days go by about what different abilities work together. Like the scavenging and initial bullet stability. It's like so many things you can look at in this game that can extend the life of it, because you can learn how to get the most bang for your buck out of building your character. That's one thing that I like about it. The next thing is, and this is going to sound completely silly, but the clothing. The meta game within the game for the clothing that you can equip your character. It's so funny. You'll be out there in the world fighting the bad guys, and somebody will drop you a light blue Parker jacket or some boots or something, and you're running over to it really quick, like, I gotta get these boots, I gotta get this jacket. And it's just like you putting these clothes on, and they're not like the latest in clothes. They're all worn. They're supposed to look like they've been kind of just previously worn or damaged. They don't look like some you would go pick up off a rack. They're not crystal clean clothes, but it goes with the theme of the game. Like Walsh was saying, the visuals. The game is beautiful. It's a beautiful tragedy of a game, because you're in just a decimated New York from this green poison that is making everybody sick and killing everybody. So you would imagine that New York looks according to that, like it's worldwide panic, martial law. And with that type of environment, the way it looks, everything just flows together. And, the visuals are just stunning. I really like the visuals. The Dark Zone, I really have a great time in the Dark Zone. I kind of wish that there was more, human versus human or player versus player interaction with going rogue versus not going rogue. But even when you're fighting the AI in the Dark Zone, they're much stronger and much smarter, and it's really intense once you get up into those higher Dark Zone levels, like 4 through 6. There's a lot to like about this game, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on what I like, because I can just keep going on and on. But with every game where you have likes, sometimes there may be some dislikes. So, Walsh, do you have any dislikes that you have in the division?
I have a few. Going back to what you were talking about as far as clothing, that is separate from your inventory. So you can carry, a whole Kohl's department store on you if you want to. But
Right.
when it comes to another visual of it, which is the weapon skins, those take up a mod slot. So I understand that they go under mods, but like then I have a 62 pack bag. Well, I have 15, camos for my weapons. Now that technically cuts my bag down to 36. So that part of it I don't
Right.
like. That's very minor. A lot of my dislikes are minor. One of the other ones is joining on players. If I'm trying to go back to the base of operations and, you're in there and you're on a separate fire team and I accidentally click on you, it automatically puts me in there with you. So then I look like an idiot
Yeah.
that I have to join and then back right back out, and the other thing I would say is, when I look at a game and it has somewhat of a single player like this one does, and you always have to be online, I don't like that, because if I'm trying to do something by myself, and I have somebody join in on me, and especially if I'm trying to build up a second character and somebody joins on me in the middle of a mission and I'm trying to solo it, then all of a sudden, if I'm a level 7 and they join in as a 30, now my enemies are 25, 26, 27. And sometimes when they join in, they're not even in your mission when they join in. So then I get waxed and I have to start that area back over, or I have to wait for you to join me, and that to me, the online perspective of it needs a little bit of tweaking, and it's not going to get changed, and it's fine, and it's something I can overlook for sure.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely feel you on that because I think once you hit the end game, that stuff doesn't become much of an issue. But definitely early on, you do feel that particular level of scaling because I think we actually tried to do a mission. I believe it was the first mission, the Madison Square Garden one, and I think at the time you had the highest rank out of all of us. I think maybe you were like a 12 or something. This was early on in the game, but in any event, like let's just say you were a 12 and we were like level I don't know 8 and 9, and all the enemies were scaling based upon whoever the highest level person is, and a 2 level difference is massive in this game. And
Hmm.
with the amount of bullet sponges that are in the game, it was insane. It is definitely insane. So, yeah, I guess they do it like that so people don't kind of cheese and kind of have somebody carry them all the way through without them actually earning their levels. I don't know,
Right.
but I
Well,
definitely
and
feel you on that.
what's funny about it too is that if you rank up, and this actually happened with us, if you rank up in the middle of the mission, like I went from 12 to 13, the minute that I ranked up, those
Hmm.
enemies changed to 13. So now if you didn't bump from 8 to 9 or 9 to 10, now you're 4 levels behind or 5 levels
Yeah, I
behind.
remember that too. I remember when that happened. That's crazy. Yep. Anything else you have a dislike about?
Not really. I mean, it's just that, there's some numbers in there that I wish that they would explain. As far as like you add 27% to your scavenging. Well, what was the original number? Just from my own personal OCD, as far as, I want to max it out. So is my drop rate, 1% of every enemy is going to drop this. Okay, so if I add 27%, does that bump it up to 28% of the enemies, or just some small numbers like that? I would like to have explained, and hopefully someday, Ubisoft will make that available to us, or maybe a third party will be able to make that happen.
Yeah, there are some arbitrary, statistics and numbers in there. Yeah, and that kind of goes into one of the dislikes that I have. A dislike that I have about the game, just on just a basic level, is that they don't explain enough to you. Like, there's no instruction manual, and there's no online manual that I know of that you can go and look at that'll kind of tell you about what the character tab is all about, how to understand what you're reading on that tab. The game kind of leaves it to you to kind of figure out on your own as you're playing. And we've learned to understand what the stuff means now that we've pretty much hit the end game level of max level 30. But it would be nice to know this stuff early on so that you can kind of structure your path to end game a little bit better. You can kind of tailor how you want your character to progress. I wish they would have put either more tutorial information in there. There's only like a couple screens that pop up as you're early on in the game that kind of tells you about different things, but they don't go nearly enough in depth to tell you about the stuff that you really need to know about, the nitty gritty on how to get the most out of your character. So yeah, I really wish they would do something about that. Um, another dislike of mine. Once you hit level 30, you have 3 missions that open up on your map, and they're hard mode challenges. But one of those missions will be a daily challenge, and that in the daily challenge you can get some high end gear, and that's great. That's almost like the equivalent of a nightfall in Destiny for you Destiny fans out there. The problem I have with challenges right now is that I think the enemies are a little bit too much of a bullet sponge. I think their armor is a little bit too much. I think some of the weaponry is a little too strong. For an example, the night that we did our first challenge mode, I believe it was was it called the Russian Embassy? Was that? I think it's the last mission of the game.
Yeah.
We did that mission, and we were, it took us a while to get to like the very end where you have to fight where you approaching to fight the boss. Well, right before we get out into that snowy area, enemies were out there in the snowy area. We're still in the building on the stairwell. They were sniping us with shotguns, the SAS-12 or whatever that shotgun is. And it was just like the range was so ridiculous. It was like no bullet spread at all. Everything was all connecting. And I think that the accuracy is just a little bit too much, and the damage is a little too much on shotguns. Sometimes you feel like the grenades just randomly spawn to on you. It doesn't look like enemies are really purposely throwing them at you. Sometimes it feels like random bullets are hitting you when enemies are engaged with another person on your fire team. It just kind of feels that way. Whether that's true or not, it just kind of feels that way in the grand scheme of the combat scenario. So I really wish they would kind of nerf the health of these enemies a little bit. I don't want to nerf to the point where it's this easy conquerable, but because it is a challenge mode. But considering how much of a bullet sponge they are and how much health they have, it kind of can feel a little overblown, because you have some enemies that don't even have actual firearms. They're running around with baseball bats and golf clubs, and they're charging you with reckless abandon, and you're shooting them in the face, in the chest, shooting them. They're still running with this 9-iron, and they'll just swipe you one time, and you're down. The dislikes are nowhere near in comparison to the likes about this game. We have a massive time each night playing it. So, if you guys are playing the Division and you're having a good time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. For those of you who don't have it yet, I suggest you catch some live streams. I'll start live streaming a little more consistently, probably Walsh as well. Maybe do some dual live streams so you guys can check those out, when we start doing those.
Absolutely. And you guys will be able to see our, just that night, or the challenge that Lux was talking about still puts a hole in my heart, because we spent so long on that. And this is another dislike, is we get to the end, we finish it out, and we can't even inspect the guy. There's a glitch in that. Like, I want my loot. Like, I spent hours doing this, and frustration and getting shot in the face with a shotgun and beat over the head with a golf club. I want my loot.
Yeah, that was such a heartbreaker that night. And that, for me, I don't know if that was your first challenge mode, but for me, that was my first challenge mode. And that was not a fun experience after spending, I don't know how many hours. I'm almost embarrassed to say how many hours we spent on it, but just know we spent a long time on that particular challenge mode. And for us to get to the very end and the game glitched, because basically at the end of that particular mission, you're supposed to inspect the body of the main, I guess, the end boss. Well, we killed him. When we went back to inspect the body, there was no prompt for the inspection. So we're just sitting there with nothing to do. And the game, no matter where we try to go back into another checkpoint area, nothing. It was just crazy. We couldn't get anything to happen. So it was like all of that time. While we did get some loot from other enemies, the main driving force of why you do the challenge mode is to get that high-end stuff. We didn't get it, so that left a little sour taste in our mouth on that particular mission. But there was also a big update this week with the Division, patch 1.0.2, that introduced a lot of fixes, and I'm very surprised at Ubisoft, of all people, how quickly they responded to the community feedback to make a lot of changes. But Walsh, what were your overall impressions of the patch?
I think it really helps the Dark Zone. I think that's what it was mostly tailored around, but I think it really helps the Dark Zone. It's made it a little bit more challenging. It's not as easy to go in there alone like it was before. It gives you a reason to go up to Dark Zone 5 and 6. Previously, there was really no reason to go up there besides maybe just a challenge. But now you definitely see more rogues because there's less penalty. You're not losing a level or a rank every time you die. So I think it went well. I know that as soon as the patch hit and I was able to log in, I went in there and Yeah, I didn't last very long alone. In fact, I think I was getting picked on by these four guys, but that's all right. It can't say that down the line once I hit rank 50 or higher that I won't be picking on somebody. But I think it's really
Right.
gave a new view on the dark zone for me. I find it a little bit more challenging. I only played one of the betas, so I only have the very first, the closed beta to reference it to, but it's a lot more similar to that than it was when the game
Yeah.
first came out.
Yeah, and that's how the dark zone should be, because that's really how they marketed the dark zone. That it's supposed to be this really intense environment that you have to look over your shoulder at every turn, because you never know if somebody's going to try to take you out and steal your loot, or whatever the case may be. So you going in there alone, that's exactly how it was in the closed beta, and I played the open beta as well, and that's how it was in the open beta. If people see you with less uh, players on your squad than theirs, there's a good chance they're just going to go rogue. And with the way they have the timer now, as opposed to in the beta, your timer would just it would reset all the way back to 5 minutes or whatever it was if you're at a level 5 rogue status. At least now it just pauses at the current timer while you're engaging in the firefight, and then once you stop firing, then it goes back to counting down, which I think is a better way to do it. But yeah, I think the dark zone, it definitely should have that intense feeling. Like when you step in there, you're taking a chance with your virtual life, and I like that. And it makes the challenge for people to go in alone. Like for if you really want to have that challenge and see how far you can get, or just even a challenge to see if I can get some loot by myself without somebody taking me out. And I can't tell you how many times Walsh and I have been in the dark zone and we pass another fire team running down the street the opposite direction, and we pass each other. And it's so funny, like there may be one or two people from that team, do a turn around and kind of walk backwards with your gun trained on them, because you just never know. And it's just kind of one of those moments like, we don't trust you, but if you're cool, we're cool. But if not, it can go down. So
Right. Well, and since they added more high-end drops now, there's a lot more tension when you do have those. Because and especially if you're trying to go rogue, now there's more reason to find out what other players have, because there's a chance that they may have loot, or high-end loot. The other night I killed one of the bosses by the library, and he dropped me two high-ends. And normally I wait till a full pack to extract. No, not anymore. I have
right.
two high-ends on me. We're going to extract.
Yeah, I mean, just like the patch note says, it's an increased drop rate from high-end items from level 31 and 32 named NPCs in the Dark Zone. Increased drop rate for high-end division tech from level 32 named enemies. And then even the chests, like before the patch, you would go use one of your Dark Zone keys that you thought were special. You would open up a chest and it'd be 2 blues or something like that. It's like, it's not really worth it. So now the rank 30 chests will now drop purples, superior is what they're really called, and instead of the blues that they were dropping. And then the key chest, you can now get a possible high end drop. So like Walsh was saying, with increased drop rates from killing NPCs, certain NPCs, and also being able to open up the Dark Zone chest with your key can possibly give you the high end stuff. It definitely makes it a little more intense and tactical on how you get that loot and how you extract it without somebody else taking you out. So I think it was a really good patch, especially this quick in development. As far as my fun level on the division, out of 10, I would say 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I couldn't get it at any lower of a score on the fun level.
Yeah, yeah, yep. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about Destiny, a game that has had our hearts for the past 2 years, that we've played every single night. But we got some news this week, finally, via stream from Bungie. They were talking about new activities in their stream this week, and they're going to basically be raising the light level to 335. Currently, the light level is 320 max, so they're adding 15 points to that. I was a little shocked by this because before they announced what the actual new light level would be, they kind of set the wrong expectation. They didn't lie, but they set the wrong expectation by saying a significant light level increase. Now, I know significant is one of those kind of arbitrary words that is only left up for your own interpretation. So they kind of puts them in the clear that they're not setting a certain expectation. But when you say that something is being a significant light level increase, you're not thinking 15 points. At least I'm not.
Right.
I don't know. What about you, Walsh?
I mean, as far as a light level increase, 335, 320 to 335, that's not a big enough increase to me if you really want in your end game power to make a difference, because right now it's every 100 level character or 300 level power character into Iron Banner. Maybe not so much Trials of Osiris. You can still get away with it, but you're still able to win. You're still able to deal damage. And I'm not saying you need to be irrelevant in the fight, but you shouldn't be able to, one-on-one gunfight, you should not be able to beat me if you want to make a significant change in light level. So no, I don't think that 15 points is a high enough increase.
Yeah, I don't think they have. I don't think the scaling between light level is a significant enough penalty to really make you feel that there's a difference. The April update is going to arrive on April 12th. And I think you and I kind of talked off stream a little bit, and you had some concerns about that particular date. Can share those concerns real quick?
Well, the biggest concern is that Dark Souls comes out that day. Dark Souls is one of those games, to me, that I can always fall back to. Even though it's the same thing over and over and over, builds are different fashion Souls, as people say, getting and redoing your characters and just playing stuff over and trying it different ways, doing a fist only run, or using no shields or no death runs. And the new one's coming out, the one that I've been waiting on for 2 years now, is coming out, and Destiny's coming out that same day. And then I have a sneaking suspicion that to compete, that the Division is going to have their update that same day. So I'm a little concerned as to where my time's going to go.
Yeah.
If I had to guess, it's going to go to Dark Souls. But, I have no clue.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough decision for fans of the Dark Souls series. Well, it probably won't, because if you're a fan of Dark Souls, you're dedicated to that particular franchise. So it may not be as much of a struggle, considering that we've gotten a lot of gameplay out of the Division right now. So Dark Souls is a new game coming out. So yeah, it's definitely probably going to pull some people away and make them have to split their time a little bit, but that's okay. I mean, that's a good thing to have. Good game, a lot of good games, multiple good games that you having to split your time between. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing the reaction to Dark Souls 3 when it comes out in the States.
Yeah, it's going to be great. You need to jump into the cult that is Dark Souls.
Yeah, I know, man. I know. I probably will. You know me. I said I probably won't buy it. I may just rent it, but knowing me, I'll probably go ahead and buy it. All right, so let's get back to the Destiny stuff. So with this new update, it says Guardians will face new challenges through new quests, bounties, and strikes. They did show. I think they showed. Well, they talked about 2 strikes. They're going to remake one of the original strikes, the Archon Priest. What is Winter's Run? The Archon Priest is going to be taken. So I'm looking forward to seeing what all they're going to do throughout that strike. And then also the new strike. What was the name of the new strike? I can't remember. The Blighted something. It's like the Blighted Chalice, sure. I believe. No, that's the quest. That's the quest.
Yeah, I just know that the end boss is Malik.
Yeah.
Or is it
Or
Malak? Oh
Malak,
no,
as they,
Malak.
yeah, they made sure they made everybody aware the correct pronunciation is Malak. So all you people who have that, who farm that gun, is the grasp of Malak. All right, so we talked about the light level. So the Prison of Elders, the new thing, the new update with the Prison of Elders. So if you're somebody who's still in the process of leveling your character, you haven't quite got to that level 40 yet, don't worry about the Prison of Elders getting an update, because the original Prison of Elders is still going to remain intact. You're going to still have that matchmaking at the level 28. You're still going to have the 32, the 34, and the 35 level Prison of Elders, which, by the way, Walsh, I think I mentioned it the other night. I still need to run a couple of those Prison of Elders because I have not unlocked the shaders for getting to rank 3. And I don't know if these shaders are going to be around after April 12th when they update, because on the screen during the stream, Varix was not showing those shaders anymore. So either they're going to put those in a drop pool or they're just going away for good. I don't know. I can't see why they would just have them go away for good. But I don't want to take any chances, so I want to go ahead and try to get to rank 3 as quickly as I can so I can buy the shaders.
Yeah, sounds good. We can definitely
All right.
hit up some Prison of Elders.
Walsh is such a cool dude. He's always willing to help everybody.
Yeah,
Such a great guy.
It's a blessing and a curse.
All right, so with the new Prison of Elders, there's going to be a level 41 mode to empower you to reach 320. So this is really good for me, Walsh, because as you know, I've played a little bit more on the Xbox to try to level my characters up than you, and I have all level 3 level 40s, but their light levels are still pretty low. Like I said, my Titan, his highest light right now is 304, and I think my Hunter's 301 and my Warlock is 300. And the only reason they're still that low is that I don't really have anybody to run the raid with. And trying to do a raid on LFG is kind of like a time waster for me. So at least with this level 41, and because if I'm not mistaken, they did show that you can matchmake into this as well as take a pre-made fire team in. So being able to do this, and you can run it as many times as you want. There's no key that you have to use to open up the big chest, and they even said on stream that you can farm this to get that 320 loot. Deej has said something because he made a point to say like you can run this as many times as you want to keep getting that loot. So he said you can keep farming that loot to get up to 320, because at this point they don't care about 320. They don't care about you reaching 320 because the new light level is 335. So they want you to get to 335. Now, the new end game for this update is called Challenge of the Elders, and this is a level 42 event. So this is going to be 2 light levels above where we're currently maxed at, which with the new changes they made with the Taken King, it's not going to be that big of a deal in scaling like it used to be in year 1. But this is the only way you're going to be able to obtain level 335 gear. How do you feel about stepping back into the Prison of Elders, Walsh?
Well, my honest opinion on it, you can take a turd and you can cover it in perfume and dress it up, but it still smells like poop.
Yeah.
I hope that they can change my mind. I really, really hope that they do. Now, will I try it? Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. Anything Destiny ever puts out, I'll give a shot and I'll try. But I'm concerned about it. I really am. And unfortunately, with as long as a break they've had, that this update's I think gonna make it break for a lot of people. Maybe not so much the hardcore players like you and I. Will always continue to come back, but I don't know. I'm a little concerned about it, that's their big focus.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest, man. Like we've kind of had this kind of conversation before, like when Destiny reveals something and we're thinking, okay, surely that's not it. There's got to be more that they're going to have that they're just not talking about. And then we find out that that's definitely it. Like Crimson Doubles. That was it. That's what they showed us. That's what we got. That was it. So I'm afraid that this is pretty much it. The one thing that I'm kind of concerned about is like, okay, hitting 335 is only going to be is really going to only matter in such a small portion of the game itself. It's only going to matter in this Prison of Elders because the raid is getting bumped up to what, a 330. So I mean, all you have to do is hit 330, and you're good for the raid. I mean, because that 5 light levels is not really going to matter that much. So it's like that 335. In the grand scheme of things, I don't think it's really like if you don't hit 335 during this time after this update, I don't think it's a big deal. Like right now, it's not a big deal if you don't hit 320.
Right.
It's just kind of just how the game is set up now. But I don't think it's gonna. I think pretty much what we seen on stream is everything we're gonna get after we run those strikes and everything. Hopefully they sneak in. I think the only thing we can kind of hope that they do is sneak in the rest of those exotics that were in the database that people data mined, and they put some stuff in these new strikes, in the updated strike and the new strike. Because I would imagine they would have to put the grasp of Malak in his strike. Because as you notice that tread upon stars, that scout rifle that you get from the Shield Brothers strike, you can get that in pretty much any Cabal strike. So you can get these special weapons in multiple strikes. So hopefully, they'll do stuff like that along with the remaining exotics, because it's been way too long. How many different levels they play? What, three different scenarios or three different encounters in that Prison of Elders at level 42?
Yeah, they had 3 different encounters, 3 different bosses. Then they had the 3 modifiers, 2 that are combat based as far as grounded or airborne, things like that, and then they had the 1 that is scoring based, where I think theirs was a multiplier for headshots, for headshot kills. So they're supposed to have 3 different ones, and apparently for the next 16 weeks, once the update hits, we're not supposed to see a duplicate.
Yeah, I don't know about that though. I mean, I understand when Deej had said that, but I think they were just talking numbers, like possible combinations. I don't know if I think it's still going to be a random roll of the dice on what we get, but in theory, you would have enough modifiers to last 4 months. But I don't think they're going to do it that way. I think, like on stream they had like small arms, precision damage, and I can't remember what the third one was. But who's to say, like, in 3 weeks, you may have small arms and 2 other different modifiers? Well, we've already had small arms before. I don't think it's going to be completely different modifiers that we've never seen each week. Because I don't know how that would play out. But I am looking forward to seeing what the modifiers are.
Yeah, and I think it'll be fun to, where they have it melee or grenades, and to get the top score. It'd be fun to do just a melee all kill everything melee in the Prison of Elders, or just grenades and stuff like that. But again, it just seems like it's going to be repetition as the Prison of Elders was over and over and over. And I don't know if I can handle Varix talking to me for that long again.
Yeah, ultimately it's just going to turn into a farming session. People are just going to do it just to get the loot, not really for the enjoyment of the activity itself, I kind of feel. But we'll see. I mean, hopefully maybe they kind of learned their lesson from past streams and did not show us every single bit of detail of things that they're doing. I'm glad they didn't do the strikes, because one thing I used to hate about in the streams, like the streams will always generate hype, and you're curious to see what the new stuff is, but at the same time you don't want to see it because you want to experience it for yourself firsthand. And they kind of spoiled some of that stuff with some of their reveals. So I think they kind of learned from their mistakes in the past and said, you know what, we're going to scale back on some stuff. We'll show them a little bit of some obvious things that they know they're going to see, but some stuff that we have new that's planned for them that we don't want them to see that. So, all right, so let's see. I think that was pretty much it. But one thing they did have on their blog that they didn't talk about on the stream was that the King's Fall raid would now drop rewards up to 330. Now, I don't know if that is hard mode or if that's normal mode. I would probably assume that that's hard mode, and the normal mode would probably just drop up to 320. Court of Oryx would drop artifacts up to 335. So at least there's another way you can get some 335 loot. And then it says, but then they didn't talk about ghosts. But on stream, I don't know if you noticed it, they did get a Taken Ghost that looked a little bit different from the Taken Ghost that we have. You know, the ghost you can get from what's the Crucible guy's name? Is it Lord Shax? Yeah, from
Yeah.
Lord Shax. You know how the blue and green ones have the little spikes sticking up out of them?
Right.
It was a Taken Ghost that looked like that.
Hmm. I guess I
So
didn't notice it.
yeah, I seen a YouTuber's video and they kind of screen grabbed it and showed it off because I didn't notice it on the stream when it was live. I just happened to see it on that video that person posted. So that may be where you get your 335 Ghost possibly. So because you have to get everything at 335 in order to get a 335 Guardian.
Right.
We also seen some. Did you see the possible Taken shader?
Yes. That looks
Yeah,
awesome.
it really does. It really does. So we'll see. We'll see how everything goes. Any closing thoughts on Destiny Walsh before we move on?
No, just other than I'm excited to see the next couple weeks, the next two streams that they're going to have, and I really think that the final week, when they talk about sandbox and PvP, I think that that's what's going to make or break a lot of people on whether or not they're gonna come back for a while, or if they're just gonna come back to, like you say, just to light level up.
If they have some unexpected changes to PvP that are for the better, they're going to get so much praise for it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that as well. So, but speaking about upcoming stuff, you had mentioned we talked about it a little bit earlier in the podcast, upcoming game releases, and I'm gonna let you have the floor on this one. What are you looking forward to coming up pretty soon?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, it's Dark Souls. That for the what's funny about that game is an old roommate of mine. Um, I used to make fun of him for playing it, and I was like, man, you got to get off that game. Like, that's all you play, And it was right before Dark Souls 2 was coming out, and I wanted him to play Destiny with me and stuff, and then he finally talked me into playing it. And I tell you what, Lux, that's all I did. That's all I did was play Dark Souls 2 when it came out. And that's not even the best of them all. The best of them, in my opinion, is the first Dark Souls. And I still, even today, was watching one of my favorite YouTubers. I've watched an old series probably 3 or 4 times of him playing through Dark Souls. And it's with it coming out and the hype around it, it looks amazing. It's a combination between, the mechanics of the engine that Bloodborne ran on. It looks like it's a little bit of Bloodborne and a lot of bit of Dark Souls, and that's the one game I'm looking forward to the most coming out in the next month and a half or two.
When I seen that opening cinematics for Dark Souls 3, I was like, oh my God, I gotta try this game out. I can't, if I get this game, I'm definitely playing it. I don't care if I have no prior history to the other ones. I'm going to play
Hmm.
this one and see how far I can get in it and, see what it's about.
Yeah, and I definitely have to say big ups to Kelly Bundy 32 for introducing me to Dark Souls.
KB Bundy with a shout out on the podcast. Yeah, that's one of our other buddies that we play Division with. He's a really cool dude, and he's a big Dark Souls fan. Any other upcoming games you're looking forward to?
Um, yeah, just I'm looking forward to the full release of Ark Survival Evolved. It's something that I have invested quite a bit of time into, not only just personally playing it on the Xbox, but also watching some other people play, and been addicted to it for quite a while. And the upcoming release is in June. Hopefully that date hits. But if you don't know anything about it, it's basically a survival game where you start out with nothing but your fists, and you build. It's basically Minecraft with dinosaurs, and the graphics are a whole lot better on it. And I know that Minecraft is meant to be the way it is as far as graphics are concerned. But you know, from the stuff that you can do, you start out with your fists, and you can build elevators, all the way to fabricators, and ride these dinosaurs and build big bases and have battles with other people on servers, or you can just play by yourself and just create your world. And It's a fun game. It really is. It's hard at times when you first start out, and it's a good time waster. Really is also what it is. And you get attached to the stuff that you spend time hours training and taming and things like that. You get attached to it, and you can make babies as far as the little baby dinosaurs are concerned, and care for them and stuff. And that's coming out in June on PS4. Right now, I'm playing it on Xbox. Hopefully, the full release hits in June, and I'm looking forward to that. But you have had a different experience with Ark.
Yeah, yeah. So the first, when I finally played the game, Walsh talked me into buying the game, so I bought it. And when I joined on his server to see what this man has already created and what he has, it was impressive. And I was just like, wow, you can actually do all of this. The guy had multiple T-Rexes, Brontosauruses, pterodactyls, dodo birds. The guy created this base and this, like you said, this fabricator, and it's like you can just as much as your mind can imagine with the tools they have in this game, you can make whatever you want. But yeah, he was talking about my experience. It's like, because the game right now is in a game. It's a game preview, and for those of you who don't know what game previews are on Xbox One, they're basically games that are still kind of way off from their final development. Sometimes in the alpha, beta stage, whatnot, and with that comes bugs, a lot of bugs at times, and Ark has been one of those games that, at least for me, I've had issues with trying to connect because of just the server issues. Sometimes my character wouldn't load in. Sometimes I couldn't see anything. I would have a black screen. And, for somebody who doesn't know much about the game, just kind of going off of what I've been seeing other people play, and it looks fun, it kind of sours the experience for me to actually get involved into the game. I'm going to still try to go back to it. I'm not going to give up on it because they have been making updates. I just haven't went back into that world yet because I've been playing other stuff. But when I did get to play with you, I had fun. It was just like riding on the pterodactyl or whatever they're called in the game, and just getting chased by another animal that is trying to attack me, and then you helped me tame. I forgot what we tamed, but it was attacking that animal for trying to attack me, and it was just pretty cool. And the nights that you and I are playing Destiny, and then you was like, you know what, let me switch over to Xbox real quick because I'm taming a baby, this or that. I mean, he gets serious about this stuff. Like, he takes that stuff serious. He has to make sure his babies are protected. But I think that's cool that game can really make you feel invested in what's going on, and you really feel a connection with that game. So when a game does something like that, I definitely want to experience that and be a part of it. So I'm not giving up on it. I'll be going back to it pretty soon, and see if it treats me a little bit better this time around.
Yeah, hopefully it will, and hopefully it captivates you too.
Yeah, yeah. So for me, upcoming release that I'm looking forward to, as I guess many people on my channel, is MLB The Show 16. I cannot wait. This game comes out next Tuesday. I've taken off from work. I'll be playing the game all day. So be looking out on my Twitter for when I'm going to be streaming it. We're just going to go through all the different. We're going to play just regular games. We're going to look at franchise mode. We're going to look at the road to the show with my character being imported over, and we're also going to start a new character on road to the show to see if there's any new developments they've made as you're going through the minor leagues on up to the majors. I'm really looking forward for that game to come out with all the different changes they put in, the new visuals, different modes they've added. So yeah, guys, be looking forward to seeing some new content. I know content has been slow on my channel for a while, but it's gonna, when baseball season kicks back in, I'll go into overload. So I'll definitely be planning accordingly to give you content almost on a daily basis. I'm definitely looking forward to that. See what else is coming out pretty soon.
There's another game coming out. It's No Man's Sky. I don't know if you've heard much about it, but it's basically an open universe. You visit different planets, and you have a spaceship, and apparently the world is so big, and there's so many planets that in your real-time lifetime, you could never visit them all. If you spent every second of every day playing that game, you could never beat or never visit every planet that's on it. That's one that's got me a little captivated too.
Yeah, when they first announced that game and they kind of talked about all that stuff, like that really sounds cool. It's almost hard to wrap your mind around the scale of this game, but at the same time, it has me a little concerned too, because I know it's been delayed. It's been delayed, I believe, once. And the way they're talking about, you know, how big this world is, and when I see gameplay footage, it's just like, it's just you. And you're out there just exploring the world, just whatever at random happens. And I just wonder if that's going to be enough, you know, day over day, that's going to keep people there. Like that, to me, for a game to keep people captivated, there has to be something. There has to be a goal. There has to be something that you're playing it for. And if this is just a game that's purely based upon exploring, and they're kind of banking on people getting caught up in the, you know, the billions and billions of locations that you can go to that you may never see anybody in the game, or, you know, I don't know. It's going to be the first of its kind as far as I can imagine. So we have to see how it plays out. Another game I'm looking forward to, Quantum Break on the, I believe it's just an Xbox One game, if I'm not mistaken. Have you heard about that game?
I haven't really seen much on it. I've seen a couple videos on it, but no, I hadn't really done any research on it. I may have to check it out, at least rent it.
Yeah, it comes out a week before Dark Souls 3. It comes out on April 5th. And then finally, the last game I'm looking forward to, you know, hopefully it's going to deliver, is Uncharted 4: A Thief's End on the PS4. Comes out on May 10th. So, you know, that's one of their flagship games. So hopefully it's its first iteration on the PS4. All the other Uncharted have been really, really good games. I think Uncharted 2 has kind of been well known for it to being the best one, but they're all really good. So looking forward to that. All right, so wow, we've had this has been a long podcast. Any parting shots that you would like to say, Walsh?
Just kind of tell people where they can find me. You can find me on PlayStation, Twitter, and Twitch under NYWalshJets13, and then on Xbox you can find me at govna.game.
Nice. And I am MrLux, as I said at the beginning. You guys already know me on YouTube. Right here is on the channel, MrLux. On Twitter, MrLux, MrLux. That's how you spell it. And also on Twitch as well. So it's your boy Lux with Mr. Walsh here. We're signing out. We'll see you guys in the next podcast. Please leave us some feedback down in the comments, as you know, we want to keep this podcast going on a consistent weekly basis, if at all possible. But we definitely want to get your feedback on, you know, what you like, what you didn't like, what we could do differently, as this is definitely going to be a work in progress as we strive for perfection as close as possible as we birth new life into this podcast, as well as provided with a cool, snappy name. So, all right, guys, talk to you next podcast. Peace out.